The 3 best products from The Ordinary for eczema-prone skin or those suffering with atopic dermatitis. Eczema can be extremely challenging, especially because it could be mild irritation or it could be life-changing and almost disabling in the sense that these plaques kind of show up on the skin. It could be on the face, it could be on the hands, it could be behind the knees or the crooks of the elbows, kind of where skin rubs, and they can be itchy, they can be painful, they can be irritating, and they present as these really dry patches of skin that there aren't a ton of great over-the-counter products for, and people can struggle with majorly. There are some products out there that might be able to help, but there are some things that you should also know if you are eczema prone. Again, this is a condition of the skin that is thought to be genetic or hereditary, meaning that if someone else in your family has it, you could also potentially carry the gene that could cause flare-ups for you regularly or somewhere down the line in life. There's an FLG gene that is thought to be related, but eczema is really tricky because if you don't go see a dermatologist for it, you A, can't get diagnosed, and B, might not have access to the treatment options that you need. So there are 3 products from The Ordinary that are pretty affordable that I do recommend, but first we have to kind of look at what this eczema is. Again, eczema is also called atopic dermatitis. Derm means skin, and itis means inflammation of. So when you hear the word dermatitis, it really just means this inflammation of skin. If we actually look at some histology, this is what normal skin looks like under a microscope, and this is what an eczema flare looks like under a microscope. And as you can see, it is very different. A lot of people who get these dry patches might not know that it's eczema, and for some people it started as children and they've just had it their entire life. Again, because it is hereditary or genetic, we don't know an exact cause, but there do seem to be things that can cause it to flare up. That could be things like food, maybe even eggs, that could be things like stress, or that could be skincare that's really stripping or irritating to the skin. A lot of people who have eczema can also develop contact dermatitis. Think again, dermatitis means inflammation of the skin, and contact means coming in contact with an ingredient or a substance that your body doesn't get along with. And for people who are already struggling, you can see where this makes it near impossible to try new products or to even wear makeup to cover it up. Some of the best things that can be done for eczema outside of the doctor's office are regular cleansing and hydrating. But again, you don't want to use things that are going to irritate the skin. Something that I would personally recommend is the Squalane cleanser from The Ordinary. You see, eczema has a problem with keeping moisture in. Because it's so dry, it allows the moisture, the hydration, and the natural oils to escape the skin. And that obviously leads to itching and pain. Using a cleanser is not only good hygiene, but it's really helpful for the area, especially if it's a gentle one. Now, this is not my favorite cleanser. I've spoken about how I don't like this for my skin because it doesn't remove my makeup properly, but for someone who's having a flare who is very sensitive, this is a nice oil-based cleanser. It kind of comes out as a cream and it kind of works itself into like an oil texture, and it's really, really gentle while still hydrating and maintaining the balance of the skin. It's got cocoa caprylate, which comes from coconuts. It's also got glycerin, which is a really nice hydrating and soothing ingredient. And then it's also got some sugars down there, some sucrose. And the good thing about sugars is that they can really soothe the skin and help to hold on to some moisture. So again, if you're looking for a good cleanser and you happen to want one that is from The Ordinary, this is one that could be used. The next product is really one of my favorite, and I think that this is kind of overlooked when it comes to eczema. Again, if you're having a really bad flare or if your eczema is uncontrollable, you need to see a dermatologist. You need to be put on immunosuppressants or steroids that can really help calm the entire body and the entire immune system down. But if you're someone who has eczema, you're looking for over-the-counter treatments, you don't want to use CeraVe because they're not cruelty-free, this is a product that I would heavily recommend that you look into. And again, ask your derm first, but this is a serum called the Amino Acids plus B5. And there's a lot of science that's kind of emerging about vitamin B5 and B5 vitamins in general, specifically when it comes to eczema. So if you remember, proteins are what make up our skin and a lot of our body, but proteins are made up of amino acids. This has amino acids in them. They're a lot of the time used for anti-aging, but here they could be slightly hydrating. But what I really like in here is this B5, this panthenol. Vitamin B5 has been shown for some eczema sufferers, to help decrease the amount of itch that can come from these plaques or from these flare-ups. And it's also been shown to help with fibroblast proliferation. Fibroblasts are special cells within our skin that have to do with the formation of collagen and elastin and even involve hyaluronic acid. And remember, eczema is a condition where the skin is inflamed. The skin lets go of its own hydration and doesn't lock it in very well. And because of that, it gets super itchy. So if this B5 could help with the itch, could help with the exact cells that are responsible for creating more of the good stuff, and B5 has been shown to promote hydration and moisture, this is a really good thing to supplement along with a regular skincare routine. The other thing that's important to point out here is that this does not contain phenoxyethanol. Phenoxyethanol is an ingredient that we've already done a video on. It is natural and it's used in a lot of natural skincare products, but it can cause irritation. And especially for eczema-prone skin, anything with irritation is like an even heightened concern because of what's already going on. So what's great is that this is a hydrator that has a preservative system in it to make sure that it doesn't go rotten and doesn't grow bacteria, but it doesn't have phenoxyethanol, which for some people can be really irritating or stinging. There is a specific medical study on vitamin B5 that I will link to you. It specifically shows wound healing. It also shows hydration and softness to the skin. And so again, that to me just really points to this as being a good over-the-counter option for someone who's trying to maintain eczema-prone skin. And of course, because eczema needs some moisture, you do want to find a good hydrator that you can use every day. Again, this means when you're having a flare-up, it doesn't irritate it, and when you're not having a flare-up, it still maintains and balances your skin. This is the Natural Moisturizing Factors plus hyaluronic acid from The Ordinary. I really love this one. It has kind of like a cloud-like texture, so it feels really light on the skin. And especially for some of those irritated areas, if you wanted to go in with an oil or with another hydrator first, you could use this to lock it all in and kind of seal it in throughout the day. Total transparency, this is not my first recommendation for moisturizer when it comes to eczema-prone skin. I think that there are other moisturizers out there from different brands that are better, but when it comes to a video about the 3 best products from The Ordinary for eczema-prone skin, this is one that I do recommend. There's actually 2 that I was going to put into this, but I chose against, and it's because of the other ingredients in there. But these you should be aware of. There's specifically the bee oil. This is an oil from The Ordinary, but it has all of those B vitamins that we talked about. It also has other B vitamins such as B6, I think it's got B3. It's also got some other seed oils in there such as argan, such as rose, etc. But again, the more ingredients you have, the more likelihood you might not get along with one of them, or your skin might not get along with one of them. And that's why it's not in the top 3. The other one that I really like is the marine hyaluronics, and the reason for this is because of the algae in here. There was a lot of fear that algae would cause breakouts. That test was done on rabbits in rabbit ears, and it didn't really translate to human skin. There is an interesting medical article out there that looks at algae specifically for acne and for skin function. It is paid only, meaning that you have to have a university login, a healthcare login, or you have to pay to subscribe to the journal. But because I care about you, I've read it, and a little bit of a tell-all is that the way algae can function in the skin is actually extremely helpful. There's a lot of science that actually backs it up as being beneficial for acne and for other inflammatory lesions, such as eczema. The marine hyaluronics does have algae in it, which again for eczema could be super helpful, but there's also some conflicting evidence from other medical studies saying that algae could cause flare-ups in some people who are sensitive to it or who have reactions to certain ingredients. And again, because there are a lot of ingredients in here and because we don't know how your specific skin is going to react to algae, it didn't make it into that top cut of the top 3. If there's another skin condition you want me to cover, be sure to leave a comment and make sure that you that like button and whoosh, that subscribe button if you haven't already. More videos on The Ordinary routines and skin conditions can be found right here, and I cannot wait to see you beautiful butterflies in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.